Hey there, guys. Todd Stinson, CTS, baseball and softball training, coming to you with our new upgraded CTS curriculum, and it's all our hitting program. We do have a library now of pitching, fielding, catching. We've also started a softball fast pitch program as well. But what we're doing is trying to educate our staff members, our instructors, and get everybody on the same page with Across the Seams curriculum, which is, I think, the most unique program in the country. Very proud and very blessed to have it and to have you guys. And I want to start out the Single A training program with a prayer. So if everybody would bow your heads. Heavenly Father, just thank you for the opportunity to train young players, boys and girls, also to help their parents with the opportunity that baseball and softball gives them and the families that are involved. We just thank you for the information that's been passed down from generation to generation, from Doyle Baseball, Doyle Academy, into the Across the Seams program. And thank you so much for the instructors out there that are willing to pass along the information and the legacy as well. May we all do so in a way and manner that's pleasing in thy sight, and we can help all those come to know you. Please watch over us, forgive us for our sins. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Single A H1 is where we're starting the whole program. Of course, you're going to see Double A, you're going to see Triple A as well. The Single A program starts out 5 years old to 9 years old. We want the program to be administered as consistently as possible. You guys are going to have 4 components inside of every action that you have. You're going to have a freeze component. You're going to have a feel inside of that action when you're freezing. You're going to have a see component to be able to see. The kids are going to be able to see the action, see the instructor, in some cases see the kids around them on the other tees if they're in a group. And last but not least, I want everyone to duplicate the action forwards and backwards, not only for the memory's sake, but for the kids to get a workout out of it and understand consistency. And it takes discipline to go here, hold it, and come back. So the discipline part of our program, the control features of what we do, is very, very important. So always, as an instructor, be very aware who's watching around you, especially the parents. When the parents are coming in and they're evaluating not only a one-on-one lesson, 30 minutes or 60, but a group lesson, because most group lessons, frankly, just aren't organized very well. People have the right intentions, but they lose track of what's going on within the group. People are standing around, the meter's running as far as mom and dad has paid for something, the kids are just standing there waiting to get in the cage. So we've developed a system of control that keeps the kids going. Average number of reps probably in a 60-minute program with a group of 4, anywhere from 200 to 300, which just doesn't happen. Sometimes the kids don't get that many swings in a week with their teams. So very unique what we have and how we distribute it, and appreciate your attention to detail. We're into, again, Single AH1 Basic Finish Objective Trigger Series. You're going to get just a little bit of the trigger starting out. The trigger is probably the hardest thing that we're going to convey to somebody who doesn't understand what trigger is. Trigger's a load. We don't use the word load because load is a quick word. We want to have a slow, controlled movement away from the pitcher to be able to rhythm up and time up pitches versus a start and stop movement that causes a lot of other issues, but we'll get into that in a second. The focus today, at the very top of your page, you're going to see in bold focus and also in bold stance, balance, and finish. Bold letters, of course, bold words. You're going to have objective trigger up in the focus as well. It just isn't in bold because it's going to be touched on, but it's not going to be singled out. You're going to have a 5-minute stretch, Single A stretch and review. You're going to start out in an athletic position. All the stretches are very basic. They're going to be hit stretches, throw stretches, field stretches. You're just getting the kids warmed up and loose. If you want to add a little something to that, especially as an ex-coach, something that you want them to do to have fun with and get stretched and get warmed up, I'll totally leave that up to you. Then the next phase or the next station's a 15-minute station. You're at sticks only in regular stance. So the setup, you've got tees out here. Basically, you've got 3 tees, T1, T2, T3. They're all in different, what we call time zones. You're either going to have a 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or a 10, 9, 8, depending on if the player's a lefty or a righty. In here, we've got the tee set up, but basically we're just doing stick stuff right now. First thing you want to do, make sure everybody's set up, everybody's under control. You want to get them going just a little bit. Make sure they're under control. Not even worrying about what's going on with the stick. Sometimes the kids will already understand this. Sometimes they won't know about the stick yet, but you want to get them on a back knee. The back knee, of course, facing the pitcher. You can say stance, clap at the same time. They jump up in their stance. Some kids are going to be here, some kids are going to be here, some kids are going to be too wide. The kids that you've worked with already will be spread, twice the shoulder's width, flex, covering the toes with the knees, 60-40 on the weight distribution, and the back knee inside of the ankle. You're not really worried about that right now, you're just kind of getting them going up and down. You're now inside of your curriculum. Inside of the curriculum, and I just told you about each action has 4 components. The freeze action, the feel action, the see, and the repeat. Inside of each individual leveled lesson, single AH1, which goes all the way to single AH30, you're going to have a teach component, you're going to have a drill component, and you're going to have a compete component. So we're teach, drill, competing in every single lesson. Where it's a 30-minute lesson, where it's an hour lesson, you're going to be rolling with those kids to keep them rolling. Because if you don't, you just turn into batting practice. Mom and dad do not want to pay for batting practice. They want to pay for something unique that nobody else does, and their kid is actually becoming the expert at what they're doing. Not just hoping they get better with a bunch of series of drills that you throw out there. The first teaching point is explain the stick. Get up to the stick, especially with your 5 and 9-year-olds. Get them on the knee. Have them take their left hand. If they're a lefty, of course, on the right side would be the right hand. You want to point where it says back foot. Make sure they know where that is. Point where it says front foot. Now, sometimes the sticks can be rolled over to the blue side. Make sure they're rolled over to the red side. When they jump up in stance, they are going to be back foot where it says back foot and front foot to the number corresponding to how tall they are. Of course, you've got a 36-inch stick. It's 3 foot long. It's going to be all the way up to about a 6-foot player. When you have a player that's taller than 6 foot, they just get wider than the stick if they're wide in stance. Sometimes those players don't start there, but they get there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4 foot, 4, 6, 5 foot, 5, 6, and 6 foot. Of course, most of your 5 and 9-year-olds are going to be 1s and 2s. So you point at the back foot, point at the front foot, say the magic word. They jump up, make sure their toes are pointed forward. A lot of your kids are going to be like the Aflac duck. It's just going to happen. Why? Because their ligaments and joints are not supporting this move yet. It's a lot easier to stand like this than it is like that. Also, you want to make sure that they know how much to flex. You've got them spread a little bit. You got their toes pointed. So basically, we're spread to the stick according to how tall you are. And when you're doing that and you're talking about the most important part of their swing, it's always going to be balance. You're going to go back to balance every single time because the kids can understand that. So what's the most important key to hitting? And you'll go over that with them, which is balance. When you swing the bat, should you be out of control or under control? They'll know that and let them answer that. So we're spread for balance. Now we're going to flex for power. We're going to bend our knees enough to cover our toes. I like to say high toes and bi toes. That gets them tickled sometimes. So spread, flex, covering the toes. Waist is slightly bent. You want to be over the strike zone, not too far back this way. You don't want a sun deck out here, so slightly bent at the waist. Now you find your toes again. So it's cover your toes, find your toes with the waist. Shoulders are always level. Eyes are always level. You want to have kids in here, kids in here, kids in here, kids in here. You want them to start out level. So toes spread, flex, waist, shoulders, eyes. Grip. Now we're into the grip phase, and we're talking about door knocking knuckles, guys. Why do we do that? Well, we're going to show the kids why instead of holding the bat here and wrapping the bat, that they line it up with their little knuckles or their door knocking knuckles. And a lot of your young kids aren't going to be able to do this. Their hands aren't big enough yet, but they can think about it. On the back of the stick, conveniently located, is grip line. That's where you line the little knuckles up. Why do we do that? So we can have the second most important key to hitting, which is bat speed. And then you want to introduce them for the first time to the word snap. When you snap that bat, they're going to start understanding short bat path versus swing a bat, dropping the bat, swinging level like a 1-2-3 swing versus a 1-2. Why do we snap? Well, obviously it's bat speed. But if you wrap the bat and you get to extension, maximum amount of bat speed at contact, that's as far as you can snap to. Okay, now I'm going to mark that with this lid. I'm going to go back to my normal stance, right where I started. Now, I did that again, got to extension with a wrap bat or bat in the palm of my hands. Now, I'm going to line up my door knocking knuckles. If you'll do this little demonstration in front of parents, it will really enlighten them. They'll like that. So now I'm going to go to objective, and I have gotten to extension. But what they haven't seen is I haven't finished my snap. Now I've even snapped further. Why? Because I have more leverage because the bat is in my fingers now. And now you can see the distance, which is about 6 inches to a foot of more bat speed. That's why you line up your door knocking knuckles. A lot of times you'll hear people say line up your door knocking knuckles, but they won't give you the why. So again, reviewing: toes spread, flex, waist, shoulders, eyes, grip. Now you want to take them in the top of the strike zone. That means top hands above the waist, bottom hands below the waist, in 4 to 6 inches from the chest, back between the ear and shoulder. So up, in, and back. Now we get into the elbows. A lot of people want their elbows here when they teach. A lot of them will bring them here. Guys, just have the kids relax. Don't have them thinking about so many body parts if you can keep from it. They don't need to learn about the anatomy. They need to learn about hitting. So relax the elbows. The elbows are going to do certain things, but right now just relax them. So up, in, and back, relax the elbows. Now we get into bat angle. And that's a big controversy throughout the baseball and softball world right now. We start out utilizing what the Lord's blessed us with. 3 truths: get ready, explode, and keep your head still. When you do those 3 things on a regular basis and you can find that ball, you're going to be a great hitter. Well, what else are in the 3 truths? Gravity, especially with a young kid. If a young kid is going to try to hit a high pitch or a pitch that's a little up or something that they're told to swing level on, gravity is not going to be their friend. It's going to drop the bat hit. Why? Because the top hand is not developed enough yet. And even on really strong people, some of my teenagers and college players, if they've been taught to swing here their whole life and they get something up and in, it's here. I just had a college junior come to me that couldn't pull a ball. He was very strong, linebacker in high school. He did not know how to get his bat there versus being here all the time, a la rotational hitting and launch angle. So what I've done is I've taught him how to get there. Home runs are up, batting average is up, of course his playing time is up. So you want to teach the kids to have a ground ball approach. We call it ground balls to line drives to home runs. That's where we want to start. Now, are we going to be ground ball hitters the rest of our lives? That's not what we're shooting for. We're shooting for control of the bat to be able to work it down in the zone, 10, 9, 8, 2, 3, 4, to be able to understand how to backspin a ball and ultimately hit a line drive and a home run. But we want to say ground ball or bat angle 45. I like saying ground balls and then take them on into line drives and home runs. So up, in, and back, relax. bad angle, and then last but not least, 60-40. Now that's your review of your stance. After you've done that, then we want to talk about the power line terms and how that happens. Once they're spread flex 60-40, now you want to get them into finish. We always teach backwards when we're starting out our power line. All the way around to finish and see what this looks like. We can take before and after pictures of each kid the first time they've been here, because sometimes they're going to be here, you're going to see them struggling with a lot of stuff, but you want to get them around to finish. Front foot closed, front leg straight, back heel up, back hip forward, shoulders full turn, eyes on the ball, bad head finishes up. Most important key to hitting is balance. Second is bat speed. And third, of course, is timing. Right now, all you want them to do is to be able to remember balance. Then you take them back the way they came. If you want to introduce them to objective now, it's go to where the ball is supposed to be and stop. Notice I do not have a ball right here now. They're not focusing on hitting. They're focusing on the action, so they're not worried about the ball. That's why we start out the tee without the ball. Introducing now our new upgraded system, tee without the ball, because eventually what we're going to do is we're going to add a ball. So when you're doing your 4 stations inside of your leveled lesson, now you're going to have tee, no ball, then you're going to have tee with ball. That's your first 2 stations normally. Then you're going to have a flip station, then you're going to have a soft toss station followed by BP. Within every single lesson, there are these components. Sometimes I'll take out maybe a tee without ball because of an advanced group, but you're going to see tee no ball, tee with ball, flip, and soft toss at about every single station. That's the huge upgrade. Also, with our curriculum, we have sequenced all of our drills to present to each player to progress them better than we ever have before. We have moved drills around to be able to accentuate or accelerate the kids' progression level inside of what we're doing. So, finish through the terms. Now we go trigger, introduce the word trigger, objective. Have them go to finish, objective, stance. Tell them that trigger is get ready. If you're going to punch something, you're not going to stand there. If you're going to punch something, you're going to rear back. So you can say rear back, objective, stance. Rear back, objective, stance. Trigger, objective, finish, objective, stance. Now get them on knee and have fun. Stance. Get ready, objective, stance. Get ready, finish. And then go backwards and forwards with them. And you can have some really cool fun with a lot of kids without getting into anything. Now, if you've got 4 players there, 3 players out here, you're working with a kid in here, everybody's doing the same thing right now. So make sure that you're making everybody freeze. That is the ultimate goal. Guys, if you're not making your kids freeze, you're doing them a disservice. They're not getting the feel. They're not getting the overall development that their body needs and their mind needs. If you're just letting them hit and they're running, even out here, if you're watching the tees, a lot of times the kids will not go back the way they came. Also, when they pick up a ball, for instance, we'll say trigger, swing. Everybody hits, stance, everybody repeats. There's usually tennis balls or baseballs laying around the tee. We squat and load, not just bend over, not bring the tee back the way they want it, because they'll get lazy. Why do we squat? Because here's where we play from, guys. We don't play from here. So you want to show the parents and anybody in the room, it could be a travel ball team practicing next to you. When they see what you're doing, they're going to want to have a part of that because it's so controlled. So make sure you're controlling the whole group. After you go through the terms of power line, explain again, stance, and all players, I've got this underlined, go back exactly the way they came. We want to repeat 10 o'clock, repeat 9 o'clock, repeat 8 o'clock. Why? Well, people call it muscle memory. Well, guys, muscles can't remember, but the brain can. And they will tell the muscles what to do. And we want to get them in that routine. Now we go into drill 1. Stance / turns, finish / turns. Players toe up to the stick. Remember, you can go 5 reps, still not even messing with the bats yet. Knee, stance 5 times and pick up a stick, line up the door knocking knuckles, command knee, stance. You're up 1 time, command knee, trainer points to body parts. Then you go over the terms that you just taught them. So they're here, have them go here, and then back to stance. Now, everybody is standing watching. You'll go, what have I got? Toes, spread, flex, waist, shoulders. I point to the different body parts, have them repeat the terms back to you. All of your kids won't do it. Some of them are scared to make a wrong answer, a wrong move. Keep them going till everybody feels good about the stance. You want to do that 3 sets. Then command stance, swing, slow motion swing, all the way to finish. Repeat the terms, and then come back. Now, you don't have to rotate yet. On here, it does not say rotate. Why? Because everybody's pretty much still just going through finish objective, trigger introduction. Now, station 2, T only, T's only, no ball. Explain rhythm. That means we're getting into trigger a little bit. When the pitcher winds up, and they start forward. In other words, when you see the pitcher's backside, it's probably time to get ready or use your trigger. Now, it's not on here yet, but we will be talking about down the road, bar, tuck, and tilt. Right now, you're just getting them ready. You don't want them worrying about all these body parts yet. You just want to get them in a good rhythm. So you're going to have them hearing about trigger. Upper half trigger, show it to them. Bar, tuck, and tilt. We know that's a slow control movement. It's not quick. You don't stop it. You continue to move it. Create inertia, don't stop the movement. Then show them lower half trigger. Have them put the sticks down, cover your toes, spread flex, knee inside the ankle, front heel lift, front knee to back knee, slow and controlled. Might even give me a little belly button to contact. And if a kid is open or they're too narrow, this can be your trigger. Load on that backside and step. Load on that backside and step. Pick this up and put it down. This is going to be the lower half part of what we're doing and how all of this works. So make sure that they get the lower half part of the trigger. Now we're going to get into the drill under station 2 with the trigger intro. Command is stance, command trigger, swing, finish. You want them freezing for 2 seconds, repeating 7 terms after the 5th rep. 5 reps within a group. If you're one-on-oneing and you have got enough time to do 10 reps, then go ahead and do 10 reps with them. If you don't, then cut it down to 5. Remember, every one of these stations are set up in 60-minute intervals. What I want you to know is you can adjust those intervals coming and going. And what I mean by that is speed it up when you have to, slow it down when you have to. You don't have to give the player every bit of information that's in there. They're going to absorb about 6 to 7 items anyway with short-term memory. After that, they're going to start losing track. That's why I don't want you to get into too many body parts. Get them in rhythm, have them swing and freeze. You're going to go through the trigger station for 5 reps, kind of get them on board with it. Still, remember, you don't have a ball. 5 reps, and then rotate. There will be more focus on specific and detailed actions of trigger later in the system. I've noted that so you guys don't get caught up in teaching a 5 to 9-year-old about the trigger. Now, if you've got a 9-year-old that's advanced and they come in looking like this and they understand what that movement is, you might work with them a little bit more on it. But understand, most of them aren't going to be that. Station 3, T's only, no ball, regular stance. We call the drill 30, 60, 90. 30% on command, player swings and freezes and finish and half player repeat. So what you're going to do is on single A H1, you're going to have a player stance. You're going to have them pick up a stick If they're a little bit more advanced, you can have them pick up their bat if you've already got them in stance. You're going to have them take a slow motion swing all the way to finish. It's going to look like this. Stance. Then the next command is begin. You want a slow movement away from the pitcher, swing all the way around to finish, and literally slow motion, guys. It's 30%. You're going to see a lot of leaks. They're going to struggle to stay balanced, so they're going to have to get a little bit wider. Then stance. Make them repeat that. We're going to do that 5 reps. And remember, we don't have a ball yet, so you do not have to rotate anything. Nobody has to move. Everybody's still getting reps at their stations. After you go through that, then we go to the 60% phase. It's the same thing. Now we're going to speed it up, and what you're going to see is whether they can hang on to their balance or not. So basically it's stance, begin, and 60%. See where their front foot is. See if they're tight roping. See if they're torso tilted. See if they're pivoting. See if they're leaking. So many things you can see without a ball. They don't have to focus on the ball. And if you'll notice, inside the cage, I've got the tee set up really high. Why? Because I'm going to start teaching them how to work that top hand to begin with. You're going to have a parent at some time go, well, my kid's not even that tall. Why you got the tee that high? So I can teach them how to use their top hand. And then you have to explain to them ground balls, line drives, home runs. Next phase is 90% player swings. Now guys, this is full speed now. This is as fast as you can, under control. We still don't have a ball. You're going to have kids, when you say full speed, want to swing out their mind. They're going to be like the fan man from the car wash. What you want to do is to make sure they're under control, and you want to hear the snap through the zone. So I would recommend using the sticks. You're not going to hurt them with the tee, and I would love to hear through the zone. When they hear that snap, it sounds cool. Even coming backwards, you can still hear that rhythm, that motion. So it's get ready, full speed, 5 times. Again, don't have to rotate. Everybody is still at the tees on the outside of the cage. Station forward. Now we add a ball. Regular stance. Again, once you do this, now things are going to start changing because the player's focus is going to be on the ball, not what's going on with their bat. You have to let them know we're not here today to hit the ball per se. We are, and if we do, that's great, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is learning spread, flex, 60-40, get ready to explode, keep your head still, stay balanced, and try to control your body. Once you do that, the kids are going to have a lot of success. Station 4 of 30, 60, 90. Now 60% player swings hitting ball and freezes in finish. T group does the same. So now what you're going to do, and I'm not going to hit the ball, but you're going to get ready, explode 60%, try to hit the ball on the ground, 5 reps. Of course, I've got the tee set up for middle and pull. You'll have that set up for outside, except they'll be at different heights. So when the players rotate through the system, now everybody's getting 5 reps. So now's when you start your rotation. When the kid goes 5 reps, everybody's up, and I like to go, hey, you got 5 seconds to get from your tee to here. You want to make sure you've got it mapped out where the rotation's really, really easy. The easiest way to do it is have the player go frontwards if they can get to the tees on the other side of the cage, and then the player in the back come in this way. It's not always that handy. You just kind of get them in the best way you can, but get them in, and once they get to the stick, get them on a knee, stance, we're ready to go again, 60%, 5 reps. Then your next drill. Drill number 2, 90%. You're going to do the same thing. Player swing, hitting ball. After the last rep, the 5th rep, then you go over the 7 turns. What we want to do now is we want to jot down in our minds the possible flaws of what we're seeing and work with these kids, because now they're going to start getting into the compete phase. Remember, we did the teach, we got through the drills, now we're in compete. Station 5 is flip. So what we're going to do now as an instructor, if the player is left-handed, then we're going to sit down the third baseline basically, or somewhere close, and we're going to flip middle end to them. If they're on the right-hand side of the plate, we're going to sit on a bucket, and we're going to flip basically 3 o'clock or a 45-degree angle. When we do that, this is the flaws we're looking for. And I've got flaws in every single lesson now. What to be looking for inside the lesson. What are you looking for that will make the player better? And listen, we do not want to tear players' swings down to fit our system. We don't have a system. We have the truth to get ready to explode, keep your head still. We don't have a philosophy. We're not steppers, we're not non-steppers, we're everything. Why? Because we know the swing. We want to take the natural movement of the player and try to incorporate the truths to the swing. If not stepping helps them a bunch, that's what we do. If a player wants to step and they feel better and they make better contact and not moving their head all over the place, we'll do that. Make sure that you never talk about tearing down the swing. We always want to build the swing. Stay to where we're helping the player become the expert. Not depending on us, not depending on the coach, not depending on mom and dad. We are helping them to become the expert at what they're doing. Flaws, are they under? Are they balanced? Is 90% going on? Or are they all over the place? Then the compete stage, we're flipping. Player goes to regular stance on command. Trainer flips from 45-degree angle. Players swing and freeze. We do that 5 reps. If you have a group, you're probably going to have shorter time to get all this done. This lesson does not feel like it's very long. If you have 4 players, you're going to struggle to get it done. So let's say you flew through the whole program and you run out of stuff to do. Repeat it. It's okay. Guys, I have been so blessed that we have been given the rapid fire that we do. The most I ever see anybody do rapid fire is 3 to 5. Our minimum rapid fire with our 5-year-olds is 10. And they have a ball with it because they can't keep up with it. Why do we do it? People ask me a lot, why do you do rapid fire? It doesn't look like it's doing anything. Well, number 1, it's fun. Number 2, it's conditioning. By the time you get to 20, 30, 40 and even down to do buckets, my kids tell me their forearms burn. Number 3, they become fast with their hands, really quick with their hands. 4, they get strong enough to keep their bats above their waist, forwards and backwards. Number 5, you're feeling the swing, you're feeling the pathways. You can work on 2s with rapid fire, 3s and 4s, or 10s, 9s and 8s. You're repeating pathways, forwards and backwards. You're working the top hand in reverse. A lot of people never get this movement backwards. And what is that for? It's to develop the strength of the steering wheel of the bat. A lot of people will swing and just let a kid go back this way. That gives them absolutely nothing. If you go forwards and backwards the same way, whether you're doing rapid fire, whether you're freezing them and then going back, they're getting work. They're actually getting 2 swings, not just 1. So you want to be able to take the time that you have with them and develop it enough that every single second in that session with that kid is productive. That's what you want to see. That's what the player wants to see. That's what parents want to see. And then, last but not least, this round of total body is 10 push-ups, 10 set-ups, and 30-second sissy squats. Again, we know what push-ups are. We know what set-ups are. Sometimes I will have my players that have not been through the system yet actually just bend to get parallel to do sissy squats and just put their hands out because they're learning to develop their fielding side of their game. Sometimes I'll have them get here with a bat to work the shoulders and just to give them something a little extra to deal with. You will get them here, and then sometimes on the end after they're done, we'll say stance and see if they can go spread flex 60-40. Add the little niches that you want to with total body, but be fun with them, be creative, and most of all, out-care anybody out there. The kid does not want to know how much you know. They want to know how much you care.